Welcome,
We were
welcome
going to
to
talk about
the
Sandbox Games, but
welcome
I
to the
guess we're talking
tutorial,
about,
everybody. This week on the tutorial, we talk about how fast food icons are getting turned into anime. Yep,
But then
I'm
also-
just kidding. We're talking about Sandbox Games.
But also them Wendy thighs though.
Zeta, shut the fuck up.
What? I like redheads. A man's got to have his tastes.
Yeah, he's married to a redhead.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say you're married, sir. Shut the fuck up.
To a redhead. That proves his point, though.
Roleplay here.
Okay, okay, Zeta. I think you need to keep you and your wife to yourself.
Bro.
I'm going to mute myself now while you begin the discussion so that I can vacuum my living room.
So I'm going to say right now, the one that we're not going to touch is Minecraft because we already did a whole episode on that. We don't need to talk more about it.
well, it's going to come up whether you like it or not.
It's going to come up, but we're not going to cover it in depth because we've already fucking done it.
That's fine.
Blank space. Okay, so...
Yeah, we're kind of looking for direction, director.
Well, here's the thing, right? Because we only just decided what we were going to talk about this morning and we didn't have a whole week where we all did like research and shit. So we're kind of spitballing this one.
I asked you for the opportunity for research.
I know.
4
Dave
days ago.
asked like half a week ago, and we were all like, "Gee, I don't know what we're gonna talk about." And then this morning, we said some shit to each other, and then now we're talking about Sandbox Games.
That is the most non-descriptive description I've ever heard. But yeah, okay.
And I'd love to talk about Terraria, but it's lovely to see that the two other fuckers who know about Terraria have muted themselves.
Well,
Hold on, I forgot what my entry was called.
what your entry was called?
He forgot what his in what context. Your
Yeah,
entry
what
to
entry
what?
are we talking about? Are we talking about entry
My
number?
my
something in the
girlfriend and I were talking
SCP?
about a game a few days ago, and I remember talking about how I preferred it to be more sandbox over some other games because it was more like you can do whatever the fuck you want. But I don't fucking remember what game it was.
Okay, that's what he meant. His entry into this week's discussion.
Well, what did you want to talk about, Dave?
Well, since we're not going to cover Minecraft in depth, and I'm sure you have lots of words about Terraria, I will talk about No Man's Sky because that's a sandbox.
You know,
I've been playing a lot of it. I've been playing a lot of it lately. Now, see, quick question: would Breath of the Wild count as sandbox? I feel like it
No.
doesn't because you can't build anything.
Breath of the Wild is an RPG with sandbox elements.
All right. Because I was gonna say, in response to what Ringo said, which was just, I do like sandboxy, but I also like there to be at least some world lore and story going on.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
see, the
I'm
game
not
that I was
really-
thinking of was like that. It was like kind of like Breath of the Wild. I remember it being like it's a game with a story, but it's got sandbox elements. I just genuinely don't remember what game it was.
Dying Light, Genshin Impact.
Oh, it was Dying Light.
It was Dying Light. Okay.
It was Dying Light.
Hang on. Please explain to me how Breath of the Wild has any sandbox element to it whatsoever. You cannot build things.
You can cook things.
Yes, we did, 'cause
Is that your metric for sandbox? Is you can build things?
That's what a sandbox game is you build stuff.
Yes, like
Not
mixing ingredients
on its
together.
Wait.
own.
Hold
Like
on.
mixing ingredients
So
together and
technically-
building food.
Listen. If sandbox means you build, does that make Fortnite a sandbox?
Shut the fuck up, Ringo.
Technically, yes, it has sandbox elements because you build shitty towers to not get shot in. And then
Well,
you
there's a
probably-
creative mode where literally you just go and build shit or whatever.
Fortnite is an FPS that stands for fucking pussy simulator.
It is not an FPS because that's first person, and Fortnite is not. Dumbass.
It's a TP.
Dumbass. Check your fucking facts.
Oh my god!
It's
All
a-
right,
It's
I need
it's
my
a-
popcorn emoji right now.
it's a TPS, which stands for TikTok Person
Toilet potty
Simulator.
Okay, I'll accept that. That's fair.
TPS, toilet potty simulator.
That is a generous description.
So, in case you hadn't
It's a
figured it
fucking
out,
battle royale game. Moving on.
no one on this podcast likes Fortnite.
Fortnite's for losers.
Fortnite was
To be
very
fair, I've
quickly
never
ruined
played
by-
any Fortnite at all, so I really can't talk about
was
it.
fine
Fortnite
when it came
fucking
out,
sucks.
but it's not
PUBG is
fun
way
anymore.
better.
Fortnite was very
I
quickly
did
ruined for me
download
by-
PUBG recently, but I haven't played that yet either.
Fortnite was very quickly ruined for me by children with single digit.
See that I hate doing that to a game though. When it's like I hate the game, but not because I hate the game. I just hate the community that built itself
because
around the
everyone-
game.
Because like you can't hop in a voice
one
chat
did it.
and be like, oh, I got
No.
some cool loot over here, and then some 13-year-old's like, I looted your mom last night.
Here's the
No, why would
problem
you
with
do
it.
that?
This is
Like a
actually
fucking
this is
6-year-old.
actually potentially a very great conversation because here's the problem with it, right? It's not so much that the crowd that plays the game is young, it's that the game developers they tend to overly so cater to the younger portion of their audience.
Like some of the stuff that they've had, like it could have been. I mean, they do a lot of crossovers, and so it could have been this like, oh, this is really really cool way to see all these different universes intersect. But I don't want to have to be constantly fucking handling a 6-year-old to do so.
Yeah, I don't want to babysit every time I go on fucking a game.
That's not really a thing. Yeah, I don't feel like going back to like kindergarten. You know.
Fortnite Kindergarten Edition.
I love how we
God
said we're
damn
going
it.
to talk about Sandbox, and we've specifically talked about Fortnite for a
Which is
long time.
technically Sandbox.
It has a sandbox element one.
It is sandbox, but it is not a sandbox game.
So I just
My
like
favorite.
thinking about that again. I haven't played Fortnite myself. I understand that it's basically PUBG with builder elements in it, but
Have you ever played a fork knife?
like I was saying, it's really a case of just like the community is and to some degree you can blame the developers and to some degree you can't, in the sense that like the developers put a game out, it was a huge hit with this younger incredibly immature audience, but they're the ones making them the money now. So do you go, I don't like these dumb kids on my game, and purposely remove them or purposely do things to convince them to be removed and lose all of that income that you're now dependent on? Or do
Exactly.
you
Exactly.
continue to
Fucking
cater
crazy.
or do you continue to cater to the crowd that has chosen your game as their game so
See,
you can continue making money off that crowd?
see, what I do
Depends on
is
whether
I look at the crowd that plays Fortnite. I go, that's incredibly fucking cursed, and then I don't touch it.
No, but from a
That's the
problem is
that's the same thing I did with League of Legends. I looked at the crowd that plays League of Legends and goes,
God.
that's incredibly fucking cursed, and I don't touch it.
I think the only game I hate more than Fortnite is League of Legends.
League of Legends was one of those games where I didn't know anything about it, so I started playing it, and then I was like, "Oh no, this is toxic."
It's so goddamn
Yeah, I
toxic.
bought the Ariana Grande skin on Fortnite.
Why?
Because Ariana Grande's fucking hot. What do you mean?
Because sex sells.
He
I mean, but why the Fortnite
wanted
skin?
to-
She's not hot in
he
Fortnite.
he really had to pay for those 3-dimensional titties.
Hey guys,
Wow,
I
I'm
met
just-
Ariana Grande in fork knife.
My hair falls out all the time.
That's
To be
not
fair,
that's-
what I think business wise is a good decision that the Fortnite people did make is they made a product that can pretty much advertise anyone, which makes them a lot of money because now you got all these people who can advertise off of
You
Fortnite.
get those goosebumps every time.
fork knife.
I have no
Anyway.
idea what we're talking about now.
Anyway, moving on to some games that might actually be sandboxes.
So I know y'all wanted to cover Terraria, so just cover Terraria.
Well, Terraria is a 2D scroller sandbox game that is basically like Minecraft but better in every fucking way.
2D.
It's got bosses. It's got.
Yeah,
That's one thing I'll get. Okay, I will give Terraria this. Terraria has a number of bosses you can challenge, and you can re-challenge them any number of times you want.
Yeah.
Minecraft has
No.
2 bosses, and you can re-challenge them, but god damn, is it a pain in the ass.
Well,
Also-
that's where like the difference in the like the idea of those two games is. Minecraft is like, this is a game that is about building and exploration, and there is inevitably some combat in that because enemy mobs. Terraria is a game that is about combat, and then you build towards combat. Like the exploration
Explains
is
why I didn't like it.
the exploration is like a
boring.
vehicle to get you to combat.
See,
That really does explain why
Minecraft
I don't like it.
Minecraft is a 4-sword adventure, whereas Terraria, you have Gilgamesh's fucking treasury of weapons.
It is true. See, because
People
when
it's not
when
quite
I
the
had Terraria advertised to me, I was told it's like Minecraft, but it's 2D, and I was like, okay, that sounds fun. And I watched some YouTubes. Yeah, I watched some
So you-
YouTubes. I
we
watched
all-
some YouTubers.
and now
I went on the YouTube.
Anyway,
Whatever. I
continue.
watched. I remember
That
watching
hurt.
Tobuscus and a couple other YouTubers play it, and I was like, okay, this is somewhat interesting. And I played it for like 4 or 5 hours, and I was like, I am fucking bored. And
Probably playing it wrong.
Oh my god!
I went back to it a few
I hate when
times.
people
I
say
also
that. No. I hate when people say you're playing the game wrong. Like, shut the
That's
fuck
why
up. No,
No,
shut
there
the
is
fuck up. People can
objectively-
play however the fuck they want to.
Yeah,
It's their
no,
own
I mean-
experience.
I say that as a meme. The only way that I've ever genuinely been like you're playing the game wrong was when I handed my controller to Linda when I was playing Halo Reach, and I was like, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. I'll be right back. And when I came back, she somehow had the truck, because this was Reach, up in a tree in a way that I could not figure out how to get it back down.
wow.
Good job.
I don't know. I wasn't there. She's never been able to recreate it. And I'm just like, what? How did you, what? You broke it.
I would guess there was an explosion or two involved.
Probably
There was what involved?
An explosion or two.
explosion or two to get it that high off the ground. It probably would have to be.
I can still go to that exact tree today in Halo Reach and be like, how did this happen?
What went wrong?
This is the tree where my wife lodged an entire vehicle.
See, the thing is, the point of there being like not one set specific way that the game has to be played, like different play styles they exist to make the game more
Appealing to a
playable
larger audience.
towards a wider audience. Yeah. Like,
see-
so that's why I hate when people are like, "Oh, you gotta do this, you gotta do." I'm like, no. Like, for example, this is a kind of a shitty example, but in Dead by Daylight, people always use the same like 8 to 10 perks in the really high rank gameplay. It's the fucking dumbest shit ever, because like you can play however the fuck you want, but because people abuse like these these like same fucking perks every game, and they get, you know, technically an artificially boosted fucking ELO rating, like, and then they say shit like, oh, well, you gotta use this, you gotta use that, you gotta use it. And the fuck, no, I don't have to at all, because I don't have to fucking get to that like fucking rank. Like, it's not that fucking important.
Well, the
I
other
play
thing-
DBD, and I have no idea what an ELO rank is.
Somebody's
so...
really triggered over DBD.
To bring it back to Terraria, I would say that the only way that I would legitimately say you're playing it wrong is if it's like you don't craft any new weapons, you're not crafting any armor, and you're fighting bosses, and you're like, I'm losing, and this game is too hard, and it's not fair. It's like, no, you're not progressing to the point you're supposed to progress to. And like, obviously, there's some people who like they'll go through the whole game no armor and just kill everything with a copper short sword, but that's not the first time they fucking played the game either.
See, there,
You know what
I think
there
is-
is a central through line in Terraria, which is the bosses with increasing difficulty, and
Yeah.
then, you know, how like beating one then unlocks, like, you now have like you kill the wall of flesh and you're now in hard mode, and you unlock like cobalt and stuff, and you can make better weapons, and it progresses onward and onward. My bet would be that Dave doesn't like the game because he spent an hour cutting down trees and trying to build a house, and was constantly attacked by slimes and zombies, and was like, fuck off, I'm trying to build a house.
Yeah, that's a pretty accurate assessment.
Yeah,
See?
so fighting the zombies and slimes is integral to getting some of the things that you need to progress through the game.
Like,
Really early on in the
Money.
game, like you can build a fucking palace first thing in the game. Like, that's like do what you want. But really, like, you're gonna end up rebuilding that house because you're gonna get other things and you're like, oh, I like this better. So like early on in the game, you just need a fucking hole in the ground, really, for you and the guide.
Yeah, and that's another thing about Terraria is as you progress through the game, you get new NPCs that do other things for you or sell other things to you that help you progress further as well, such as the witch doctor that sells you a pair of wings. So you
Yeah,
can
who I
fly.
only very recently discovered was a lizard person, and I don't know how I've never
Really?
noticed this before.
It's like he has a whole tail and everything, and Zeta's just like, who is that under the mask?
No, it's just I thought that was like part of his garb. I didn't realize it was a tail. I thought it was just like
He sees the witch doctor and he's like, what manner of fairy is this?
He sees the witch doctor and he just stares and he goes,
Doctor just rolled really good on his deception, like
He's-
Barrington.
Zeta stares at him and goes, ooh,
Either that
ooh,
or Zeta
ah,
just rolled.
ting,
Either
ting,
that or Zeta
walla,
just
walla,
rolled really
bing, bang.
poorly on perception.
No, it's just that when the first time I ever saw him, I had like a very small screen, and I was just like, this is a man who wears a skull and spits darts, and then I never thought about it again.
Oh yeah, you had that little fucking like 8-inch laptop.
It was 10.
Well, it was tiny as fuck.
Listen, we're not comparing laptop sizes here, okay?
I'm a big believer in it's how you use it, not the size of it.
Well, out of us, he's the one who's married, so.
Holy fucking shit, Dave.
It's all in the technique.
Anyway, yeah, so
Why are you upset that I said that?
I'm
Yeah, like,
not upset. I'm just like, goddamn, savage.
Success.
Anyway, there's a whole other
Great
part to
success.
Terraria as well, with like this is something I find funny. You can dig underground and get all kinds of resources and stuff. Most people, when you look at their maps on Terraria, haven't dug through most of the fucking world. Like most of it is still blank space on their map that they haven't explored.
Yeah.
It's just like it's fucking like 80% of the entire map is underground.
Yeah, which I'm betting Dave
Fuck
never went
that.
underground either, or if he did, he only went
Well,
very
no,
shallow.
He did go underground. But I do recall that like I went underground and I was able to dig for a little bit and then it was like, oh, you need better stuff to dig this shit. So I just
you got to dig up iron and then build an iron pickaxe, and then
And
you
then
have
iron
to
can take you all the way up to gold or platinum.
you
And then
can
once you have gold or platinum, you can
Mhm.
dig demonite, I think. And then once you have demonite,
No,
you
you can
can't.
get meteorite and hellstone.
But here's the thing, right? Like Terraria is such a creative game, right? So with Dave, like, here's what I imagine. You know, Dave would come across an ore that he can't dig, and he'd go, "Well, this game is fucking bullshit and it sucks." But realistically, you could just throw a bomb at it and it mines it anyway.
Oh, true.
well, until you get to hard mode. The hard mode ores cannot be bombed out of place.
That's true. But also, what else does Terraria have over Minecraft? The fact that your pickaxe is forever.
Also,
Yeah.
drill containment unit.
It doesn't break.
also what?
You can build a pickaxe and you never have to replace it until you get a better pickaxe. You don't have to be like, uh-oh, my cobblestone pickaxe broke for the 30th time. I've used up all my iron building pickaxes. I don't have any left.
Yeah,
Or, oh no,
making,
that was my last diamond pickaxe. Fuck that.
Making
in fact,
tools with which to mine is very much less resource hungry.
in fact, in Terraria, you don't even have a diamond pickaxe because fuck that. You make a fucking grappling hook out of it instead.
Well, funny thing, you actually can craft a diamond pickaxe now.
I don't think so.
Really?
I don't think that's true. I think if I go
pretty
to
sure.
You're
pretty sure-
clicking right now.
pretty sure if I go to
figure
the
it out.
Terraria wiki right now and I go to let's find the tools section here and I go
I'm pretty
under
sure.
pickaxes and drills. Let's see, cactus, copper, tin, iron, lead, silver, tungsten, gold, candy cane, fossil, bone, platinum, reaver shark, nightmare, deathbringer, molten cobalt, all of the drills, palladium, mithril, orichalcum, adamantite, titanium, specter, chlorophyte, pickaxe axe, shroomite, pixaw, vortex, nebula, solar flare, stardust.
There's like a pickaxe axe.
Yes, pickaxe axe. It's a pickaxe and an axe.
Ugh.
Nowhere in there is there a diamond pickaxe.
Hold
It
on.
doesn't exist. You don't use diamonds for pickaxe. Not in Terraria.
All right.
You use diamond for grappling hook
And staff and robe.
and staff and robe. Because Terraria also has magic, which Minecraft doesn't have.
Yeah, which.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Hold on. You also use diamond for
Minecraft
white
do have
lightsaber.
magic.
Yeah,
Oh
for
yeah,
a
you
white.
can use
Minecraft
diamond.
do have magic.
You can shut up, Dave. You can use diamond for lightsaber.
You can
Also-
use diamond for white lightsaber.
Also, you can use diamond to create the best thing one could possibly create with a diamond.
The diamond toilet.
Yeah, you're goddamn right.
What the fuck?
the diamond toilet. You can make one. Can you make a diamond toilet in Minecraft? No, you can't even make a fucking toilet in Minecraft.
I mean,
I will
No,
open fucking
Yeah,
Minecraft
Well,
right
if
now
you
and design a
if
fucking
you
toilet.
arrange stairs
No.
and signs just in a certain way, now fuck that. You can build a fucking toilet.
I was
Not a
gonna say,
real
yell at
toilet.
Mojang enough, and they'll make it a feature.
Also Terraria, you have you can do all you can do all kinds of cool shit. There's wings, you can fly, you can fight bosses.
Here's
you can-
something.
you can
There's
paint.
all manners of accessories that cater to all different types.
Oh
of
yeah,
play
you have
styles.
like classes that you can do in Terraria for
Yeah.
for killing shit. Also, you have an object in Terraria that lets you just warp home whenever the hell you want. You can't do that in Minecraft.
Yeah. So you don't have to worry about getting lost and
Mhm.
placing all your torches on the same side when you go in, so that you know which way is in
Yeah.
and which way is out of the cave.
There's also a water bucket that never runs out of water.
Okay, but you can go entire playthroughs and never get that though, because I've had that happen.
You could if you're a loser.
What, you expect me to do 500 angler quests? Fuck that.
You don't need to do 500 angler quests to get it.
Okay, potentially you could do one and get it, but that's very fucking unlikely.
Here's your problem, James, is you don't like to do the fishing quests whatsoever because you think fishing in Terraria is bullshit.
I mean, I
No,
don't.
I just would rather do other shit in Terraria
That's the thing.
than fishing.
That's the thing about Terraria. See, is when it comes to Terraria, like there is the boss fights and that's all good and stuff, but like I like to do fishing and I like to do alchemy.
A fucking ungodly amount of fishing, by the way. This
I
man
do
will spend
fishing.
days
Yes,
on end fishing.
I love fishing in video games. So I do fishing and I do alchemy. I make potions, and I'm a great person to have on a team when it comes to Terraria. I just also don't like playing with other people. So
That's a fucking L.
yeah, except for people I know. So I've played with Ringo and Zeta many a time, and they always it's funny because they'll talk shit about me doing fishing and alchemy, but then when I'm actually on their team doing that shit for them, they're like, "Oh, thank God somebody has potions." Yeah, you fucking.
Oh, no, I do alchemy. I just don't do fishing.
Yeah, same. I only fish when I have to because, I
Also,
need it.
sometimes you can just be good enough to not need potions.
Also, in order to get the fucking cell phone, which has all the info and warps you home, you need to
you
fish. You have to do fishing quests.
Here's the thing. All I need is the mirror because, like, I really don't need all that information on the side of my screen taking up like a tenth of my screen.
Also, you can dress like a Minecraft creeper.
Yes, you can, which is very fun.
Is that actually true?
Yes, that's actually
Yes.
true. There's a
Like
creeper
actually
costume.
the quote unquote crossover-y thing.
That's
Yeah.
a Halloween costume.
Minecraft advertises Terraria and Terraria advertises Minecraft, by the way.
I'm aware.
Yeah, they have a healthy relationship, unlike people who play League have with League.
Or people who play League versus people who play like literally anything else.
Like Dota.
Yeah.
Oh man, if you want some fun, like some sit down and eat some popcorn shit.
And just be like Dota is better than League or vice versa.
Why you keep mentioning popcorn?
He's hungry.
What?
Yeah,
Boy's
you've
hungry
said
for popcorn.
Popcorn like fucking
No,
8 times.
no. I mean, like that's like the meme is just the Michael Jackson eating popcorn thing.
I guess.
But I was just gonna say, if you really want some of that shit, just go into a forum where they're arguing who's better, Dota or League, and you will have endless content.
See, except I don't want to sit around and watch people argue over 2 games that I don't like.
The problem, I think, for me is as soon as you say this game is a MOBA, then it's garbage, and I'm gonna ignore it.
Yeah, pretty much.
I've played a couple good MOBAs, but
I
most
played
of
Smite
them
like once when I was like
The
14
problem-
and I hated it.
The problem with MOBAs is that the vast majority of MOBA fans come from Dota and League of Legends, and Dota and League of Legends have really toxic player bases.
Yeah, and so you get those toxic players that are gonna come in and compare and wreck your MOBA if it's not too much like League or Dota.
Or
Or
they
if it's not
will,
enough.
or they will wreck it if it's basically just League or Dota, but with a different name slapped on it.
Yeah,
That's how fucking
basically.
dare you.
Yeah.
Aren't
But if
League
it's
and
not
Dota the
enough
fucking
like
same
League-
though?
MOBA
But if
players
it's
are
not enough like
comfortable.
League or Dota, then they'll rip you a new one for not having a good enough MOBA.
So MOBAs suck, but Terraria is awesome.
But yeah. So I know you guys played Terraria a lot, so you have a lot to say on it. But
I
yeah,
like
um,
the fact that in Terraria you have like you get fulfillment out of progression.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, in
I mean,
Minecraft, it's
if
kind of
you're the
like
kind
you
of
could
person to get fulfillment out of progression,
But see,
you
there's also
well,
you can just spend your
no,
time
you get
building too, though,
you
if
get
that's what
like
you
a
want to
straight
do.
up reward.
You do.
Right.
But
You
yeah,
get treasure
really you
packs.
could do whatever the fuck you want, honestly. Because if you spend all day, you could have one guy that spends all their time going and killing enemies and farming enemies and getting drops and sharing them with the rest of the team. And then one guy that goes and fucking fishes all the time, and one guy that's mining the whole time, and one guy that's building the whole time, and then it's a functional team.
And
yeah.
then you get Dave, who's like, "How do I swing my sword?"
No, I figured that out really easy.
Yeah, you push the spacebar button.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
don't
did
think it's-
play what's the name of it? The space version of Starbound or something
No,
like that.
Starbound. Yeah, Starbound is also a great, fantastic game.
Starbound has also bosses
Yeah, it
that I
also
would
has boss
say are
progression.
arguably harder than Terraria bosses, except
I haven't played any anymore.
except for like mechanical bosses and after.
I was gonna say, like, I don't know that I agree with that. I'm pretty
Arguably.
sure Starbound's
So
bosses are pretty easy.
I got so to say on something in that regard. You guys said that there was some kind of story progression, or that there was some kind of story or
There's a
lore
story
presented
in
to you
Starbound, but it's kind of dog shit.
in let me finish in Terraria, but I don't recall ever being presented with anything that looked even remotely but like lore in Terraria, which is part of the reason it didn't hold my interest. But in Starbound they give you that pretty early. So I was like, okay, this is tolerable. I can play this. I'm
Okay,
not
so
generally speaking, I'm not a huge fan of 2D pixelated games, but I just don't
so
like
what
to
I'm
look at it
hearing
sometimes.
is
But
so what I'm hearing is if you don't have a section at the beginning of the game where your planet's fucking destroyed and you're left stranded in space, then it's not entertaining enough for Dave.
no, no, but there does need to be like a reason that I'm here and doing these things. Like in
You
Terraria,
bought the game, and now it's time to play it.
all right, man.
You're so fucking picky.
So
Yeah,
what? I'm fucking
I
picky.
need a grimoire card for every
Uh,
fucking enemy.
I need a story for every game I play, except you, Minecraft. You're very special and I love you.
I would like to go on a
Okay,
different
I
website
will.
that's not on
I will,
to read
I
my
will
lore that
openly
isn't built
admit
into the game.
that I do not hold Minecraft to the same standard I hold everything else to.
But
And that's because
why do you hold Terraria to that standard? Because it's 2D and you're like 2D games suck.
no, not inherently. I'm not a big fan of 2D pixelated video games.
You like Oxygen Not
Um,
Included, right?
I do actually.
Yeah, that's a 2D game, right?
And it's pixelated, yep. But like I said, I don't generally like them. There are exceptions to the rule. Just because I don't like Terraria doesn't mean I like nothing that looks anything remotely like Terraria. Like I said just a few minutes ago, I like Starbound.
See, with
So
Terraria, you get lore from like the NPCs and the bestiary entries and stuff like that.
I have
But
to go find those fuckers. What
no,
bestiary engine?
They
there's
show
a
up.
bestiary. There's a bestiary in
What
Terraria.
bestiary?
There's a
I don't remember there
fucking
being a
bestiary. There
bestiary.
fucking is. There's a bestiary in Terraria.
Oh, to be fair, there wasn't always a bestiary in Terraria.
I just said there's a bestiary Terraria. I would have been way more interested.
Do you even still have the game? Did you refund it?
No, it's on an old ass computer that's dead eons ago. I gave it away
It's
to
been
someone.
updated a lot since the last time you played it.
You
Yeah,
didn't buy it on
probably.
Steam? You
No.
had it on something else?
Dave probably doesn't know what the Moon
No, I
Lord
just
is.
downloaded it.
He
I know what the
probably
Moon
had
Lord
the-
is.
He probably had the.
I know what the
booster.
Moon Lord is. I'm just not interested in getting to the Moon Lord.
They don't know about the Moonlord legs.
But like, even so, you don't have to go that far to get lore. Like, just go to the fucking dungeon and talk to the old man.
Seriously. Well, getting to the dungeon early game is not as
The
always
guide
very
gives you
easy.
lore. The dryad gives you lore as to why the world's corrupt and shit like that. You're just like not patient enough to get there.
Yeah, you're just not looking for
You're
it.
You're not patient enough to do exactly what you do in Minecraft to get to the point where you get lore.
In Minecraft, I'll tell you why I don't hold it to that same standard. It's because to me, Minecraft is the building block game, and I only play it for the purpose of the like catharsis of just or the relaxing of just building shit. I'm not there to like
But
beat the game.
Terraria is
I'm
the
there
exact
to-
same way until you fight a boss. But like Minecraft also
Yeah,
but like
that wasn't
Minecraft
my
also have
introduction.
bosses though.
Hold on. There's a very important thing you are overlooking here, which is when you advertise something one way and then it turns out not to be that way, you tend to just have a sour taste in your mouth with that product. That's what happened to me with Terraria.
In what
And that's
way?
why I don't
Okay.
like Stardew Valley
So-
or anything that looks
Yeah,
like
I
Terraria.
remember seeing what you
Stardew Valley? What the fuck does Stardew Valley have to do with this?
It looks like Terraria.
It's
You're
not
so
even
shallow.
close.
You're so fucking shallow.
So far away from Terraria. What the hell are you talking about?
It's a fucking literal farming game where you get to be gay with an emo guy and farm. Stardew Valley.
An emo guy?
Yeah, what's his name? Nathan? or some
Sebastian.
shit?
His name is
Sebastian.
Sebastian. He barely ever comes out of his room.
You
He makes
can.
it really hard to be friends with him. But he's a big old nerd.
The only character in the game.
Yeah, no, I know he's not the only character. There's also like the homeless guy that fucking
yeah.
robs
His
your
name
pockets
is
every time you
Linus.
pass out. The homeless guy that robs your fucking pockets every time you pass out. In the
His
middle of
name
town.
is Linus.
You,
Can you marry Linus?
No.
No.
But
She
can
said
you?
no.
I am immensely entertained by this new turn of events.
Zeta, what was that question?
Can you romance Linus?
No.
You can romance the mayor, right?
No, you can't.
Really?
No, you can't.
You
Not
can't
without
romance the mayor.
not without mods involved.
L. You can romance the wizard?
No.
Oh my god.
You're
all the
picking
best
every
characters.
character that you can't romance. What do you mean the mayor is the best character? The mayor's garbage.
No, the wizard.
The wizard's great. The mayor
I
sucks.
said the best character. You can't even romance him. The
I
fucking
disagree.
wizard.
Best character. That's Abigail.
Abigail. Who the fuck is Abigail?
That's the one that owns a Super Nintendo and plays video games and
oh,
eats
okay.
and
She's-
eats rocks when
she's
you
his
give them
favorite
to
'cause
her.
She owns a Super
Y'all
Nintendo
are lost,
and eats
dude.
rocks.
Is she the one
Is that your type, Steven?
What? Plays Super Nintendo and eats actual rocks? Yes, that's my type.
Steven, why are you trying to be actor?
I'm not.
So
Green
what
hair.
I'm hearing is that Ringo's favorite character is a literal magic master, and Beard's favorite character is a poor introverted girl he can bully and abuse.
No, you give her as a present. You give her quartz, and she goes, "How did you know I was hungry?"
What? Abigail's this one. Oh, she's kind of hot.
The fuck?
Well, this drawing of her, I should say. She's the actual like pixel version of her kind of has like a really ugly nose.
Also, just this doesn't really have anything to do with anything, but like the creator of Stardew Valley is releasing a new game soon, or he's working on a new game supposed to come out. I don't know, next year. or
Is
so.
it a dating simulator for Stardew Valley?
Is it a
Stardew
what?
Valley Otherworld.
No, it's called
Is it
Haunted.
Resident
It's called Haunted Chocolatier, and it has more to do with running a chocolate business than running a farm.
And apparently it has to do with hauntings.
Yeah,
How
there's
come if
also
I go to
ghosts
upcoming
involved.
releases? How come if I go to the Concerned Ape page on Steam and I say upcoming releases, it's blank?
I don't know that it was put on Steam as a thing yet.
Oh wow! See, you should have said that ahead of time because now you just made me look like an idiot.
But I mean, if you go to Concerned Apes HauntedChocolatier.net,
I'm not typing all that in.
that's okay. I put a link in the chat for you.
Oh, would you look at that? A man with a beard.
Yeah, how about that, huh?
This literally just looks like Stardew Valley,
But it's not.
except with slightly better combat. What the fuck? Hold
In
on.
No Man's Sky,
In No Man's Sky, you
In
can
No
fuck
Man's
off to the
Sky.
corner of the galaxy and still find absolutely jack shit. The boring ass game where nothing happens.
In No Man's
And
Sky.
It's actually been updated significantly since the
Wait a
last time
second.
you
Oh,
played it. So
wow.
Oh, sorry,
so,
hold on.
So instead of being bored at 30 frames per second, I can now be bored at 60 frames per second. Yay!
But now there's a lot of content, and you haven't played the game, so you don't know.
Oh boy, I've gone from having one McNugget to 3.
No, it's more like 300 million.
300 million compressed into one.
No.
so just so our audience is aware, this episode for me has gone from let's talk about Sandbox Games to let's find the most inventive way I can to piss Beard off.
Well, it also just seems like Beard it's like he doesn't like sandbox games that aren't Terraria because he was just like
That's not true.
aggressively
That's
Terraria,
not true.
and then now he's just like insulting literally every other game.
That is not. That's not
That
even
is
true.
exactly how this episode is gone.
Well, okay. First of all, what other games have been brought up? Stardew Valley, which I said was great.
It's not a sandbox.
Starbound, which I also said was great.
It's a sandbox though. I played it,
Minecraft, which I dearly love.
And
but you talked such garbage smack on.
No.
Because it
I
wasn't Terraria.
No. I talk smack on the fact that you specifically play Minecraft and go, Terraria's nothing like Minecraft and it's so boring, when it's pretty much the same.
Just with a little more content.
That's what I'm talking smack on, is the fact that you...
First thing I said about Terraria was it's Minecraft but 2D.
Yeah, you jumped on the meme train.
yeah, it's a meme, and
It's
it's also
accurate.
No,
It's only a
really.
little bit accurate.
But that doesn't change the fact that you like, it's 2D Minecraft, but then you still won't fucking play it.
Hey guys, is Ark a
2D.
sandbox?
Yes.
Ark is a sandbox. Ark's an amazing sandbox.
Actually, want to have a
Never
legitimate.
played.
I have never played Ark Survival, but it seems like a sandbox. Another one that I want to discuss is called The Forest.
Oh, the forest. Yeah.
Oh god, the forest.
The fucking worm bird.
He-
The one time I tried to play the forest with you guys, it was just like fucking what's his name was just like, oh hey, come over here, and got me fucking murdered by the meat sausage bird.
The forest is
I
fucking
still
weird,
haven't
bro.
Yeah, okay, but how is that any different? Like, it's better graphics. Tell me that some of the enemies in Terraria would not look that horrifying in a 3D engine that looks like that. Plantera, for instance.
Probably. Like, or the fucking
Possibly,
zombies that are like
But that's the
covered in
thing,
arrows
though,
and
right?
shit and,
Like in
falls apart.
Terraria, it's like, I fight zombies. In the forest, it's like, have these creepy
That's fine.
fucking cannibal shits.
And they make noises.
Yeah.
Yes, they make noises.
You know what else is a sandbox?
Literally a sandbox.
Valheim. Valheim is a sandbox.
Oh, Valheim is a sandbox. And it's a damn
And-
good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, this is what I keep hearing. Everybody tells me, like, Valheim is great, man. You got to play Valheim. It's so good. And I sat down in front of Valheim and I played it and I was like, I chopped tree.
Building.
So,
I was like-
gee, that
I was like,
sounds
what do I
an
do?
awful lot like my statements on Terraria, but my statements on Terraria aren't valid.
Yeah, but see, like, no, but see, like, that's the thing.
But
That's
see, like, I care about Terraria, so it
No, no,
matters to me.
no, Dave. Here's the thing. Both Minecraft and Terraria share one thing, and that is that it is intuitive, that you can sit down and go, this is how you play the game. Valheim drops you in a forest and goes, good luck.
Yeah, so does The Forest.
Yeah.
I imagine so does Ark.
Yes, but
forest is like, hey,
again,
plane
with the
crash.
forest, here's a plane crash where you can pick up a bunch of shit and we'll teach you how to use it to survive. Valheim, nope, you're literally dropped in the woods.
Also, please explain to me how Minecraft does not do exactly the same thing.
Okay,
It
but
does.
Minecraft is like incredibly simple.
Yeah,
Yeah, but the
and
thing is, like,
it gives you a
imagine-
pop-up in the corner of the fucking screen that says, go punch a tree. Does Valheim do that? No.
What are you talking about? I've never seen such a thing.
You haven't been
They
paying
do have
attention.
they do have that now.
If you did not know how to play Minecraft and you did not have like whatever tutorial prompts or whatever were on, and you're like, start new game, you'd have no fucking idea what you're doing.
Yes, but being a gamer as I am, I would figure it out pretty quickly.
Yet you
Yeah,
can't
a
do that.
gamer
for other
as I
games.
am.
I figured out how to get tree in Valheim, and that's about as far as
Listen,
I've got.
Buy me
That's just
Valheim and I will play it
spending
with
the
you.
time because it's a learning curve, and if you were a true gamer, the learning curve wouldn't matter.
That's coming from Mr. Dark Souls.
No, that's coming from somebody who decides if I want to play a game, I'm gonna play the game.
No, that's not coming from Mr. Dark Souls. That's coming from Mr. Dark Souls 2, specifically.
Specifically, Dark Souls 2.
I feel like I'll play Valheim later and you do more in depth on it, but right now I was like, this game is kind of
I'm just saying.
slow.
I'm just saying your judgments of why these games are good and bad is horrendously inconsistent.
Yeah.
Terraria good because Terraria fun.
You're literally
Minecraft good because
you're
Minecraft
literally-
fun. Valheim on the fence. Valheim on the fence because progression real slow.
No, it goes like this: Terraria good, Relogic funny, Minecraft bad, not no funny.
I never once said Minecraft's bad.
No, but
Not
that's
no funny.
basically how it goes for you.
Hey, Steve, are you just maybe not patient enough to play the game and progress enough to do something? Is that your problem with Valheim?
Not necessarily. It may also just be the fact that I don't have fucking time.
You know what
Okay,
my
well maybe
problem is?
Oh, so are you admitting there might be a factor at play that would cause someone to not want to do all the fucking garbage in Terraria to get somewhere?
Are you telling me that you work 12-hour shifts 5 days a week?
I'm
I
telling you
did back then.
Right, of
I
course.
do that
Conveniently,
now.
you did, of course.
I do that now, and I don't have a problem. These same problems with you.
That's because you have a wife.
How does that
just makes him have
that
less
would-
time.
Wow!
Wow!
Wow! Wow!
Women are superpowers that you can just have.
You know
That
what?
isn't
You know what
at
my
all
problem
I
is?
said.
You know what my problem is? I don't want to play anything but Elden Ring, and it's not out yet.
Yeah, I
The
mean,
fuck
it's
is Elden Ring?
Breath of the Wild.
Why
Why
makes
are
it
you
look good.
saying that when you bitched earlier that we pre-ordered Elden Ring specifically in the chat?
What are you talking about?
Did he not?
What the
Did
fuck are
he
you talking
not?
You're
about?
not fucking like daydreaming. You sure you're not
I'm
having a
pretty
fucking?
sure-
I
Are you
feel
sure
like
you're not having a
Dave's
dementia
making up
episode,
some
David?
shit right now.
I'm pretty sure. Hold on, I'm going back in the chat. I'm going back in the chat to find this. I am
don't
very
think-
sure he bitched about it. I am like
what point?
super duper certain.
At what point?
This
We searched
Okay,
for
Okay,
it,
oh,
but
you
unfortunately
would
no
say that,
results were
you
found.
fucking Dark Souls slut. I'm the Dark Souls slut.
Elden Ring. You
That's what I
fucking
said
idiot.
about. That's what I said about you.
Okay.
That's Dark
Okay,
Souls.
Beef was
first
the
of
one who
all.
said who owns all 3 games plus Demon Souls plus Sekiro plus ordered Elder Ring. Elder Ring.
Okay,
He
so
didn't even say
Zeta
it right.
brought up-
Elder Ring.
Zeta brought up Elder Ring one time, and my reply was both of you, because as far as I'm concerned, you all both own the fucking Dark Souls Collection HD Extra Special Edition.
I do actually, yes.
I don't, but I really wish I did.
I own.
Listening to how absolutely fucking.
The other thing I'm really
I
enjoying
own
about
a
this
single
particular
barrel of
episode is I don't think I've
Fusco.
seen Beard this like passionate about anything the entire
shut up.
time we've done this show.
You cannot insult my beautiful Terraria.
Hey, boys, Terraria is great, but I like other games too.
Apparently not.
Yeah, I
Like-
do.
Like what?
Apparently, if they don't
Minecraft?
measure up,
Like what? Hyrule Warriors?
that's not a sandbox
bro,
though, is it?
That's just Dynasty Warriors with a fucking Legend of Zelda skin on it. It's terrible.
It's good. It's good. I
No,
like
it's
it.
not. It's
It's a
fucking
good game.
Dynasty Warriors. Dynasty Warriors is horrible.
Yeah, better than fucking Sakura Forest or whatever the fuck you play.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Oh yeah,
Forest?
Ringo's over here. Buy me the whole Sakura collection, please. And I did. I bought it for him.
I said
And he was
it'd
like,
be
I want to
funny.
play one of them for 300 hours for the meme.
Yeah, for the fucking meme. You think I'm actually gonna spend 300 hours actually playing a fucking dating sim? Are you serious?
I believe you did.
I
You get
did it.
something out of the game for playing it for 300 hours?
No.
We're not. We're
And I only
not
played it for
discussing
2
dating
hours.
sims today.
Dating Sims is a whole other episode.
And I only played it for 2 hours.
Fucking
So,
simp.
question:
I was trying to commit, and then I was like,
he gets
"Nah,
more
this is
pussy
boring.
than
I
you,
wanna do
man."
Something else.
What is your point with that remark, Dave?
You say he gets more poon than any
Yeah,
of us?
Yeah, haha.
No, that-
No,
that-
no, I
LOL.
did not. I said he got more poon than Beard.
Yeah, haha, lol. Beard's the only virgin in chat. Hoo hoo, haha. Get your jokes out of the way.
Pretty sure Beard is
Oh.
gay, so that doesn't really matter.
Well, to be honest, I wasn't really trying to be a dick about it. It's just that
you
he's
were.
over here calling him a simp, and I'm like, okay, but you haven't even like had a girl, so
Beard is like saltier than me, and I am Dr. Salt.
I know. I feel
You're
like
Dr. Salt.
based on what's been going on, I think Beef has just sort of like Beef
Wait a
is bland
second.
this week. He just gave all his salt over to Beard.
Please tell me this exists.
Bacon, my friend. Or
Oh.
as you might call it, salted pork.
Pork. Delicious. Pork.
What
Bro,
did
Dr. Salt.
Is Dr. Salt actually a thing?
I very much doubt it.
Dr. Salt, bro. Dr. Pepper, Dr. Salt. Let's fucking go.
Did you say No Nut November?
No, what the fuck?
Well, we know
What's he
where
post?
Zeta's brain is.
Yeah, No
It's
Nut
not
November.
even November, bro.
Oh
It's
my
February.
god, that's not what I was.
Well, to be fair, I was Dr. Salt the week we did the movies, so
We did movies.
yeah.
There's the Sprite
You
knockoff.
talked about the one about going to Vegas and getting high.
Oh, right.
See, that Dr. Salt there reminds me of this.
It was all a dream.
30 Fanta. Oh my.
Anyway, are we going to discuss more games, or are we going to continue to pester Beard and draw out more salt?
What are the fucking games do you want to talk about, huh?
Well, I
Yeah,
mean,
what-
I've only said it like 6 times.
Subnautica.
Okay, so-
Subnautica?
Okay, I guess we can talk about Subnautica then. That's fine. Okay.
We don't really talk Ark or the Forest. We just kind of like.
No, we just sort of like touched on them for like half a second because Beard had to go off on his tirade about how great Terraria was again.
No,
Yeah.
I didn't. I just said the forest was kind of weird and Valheim was kind of boring. And then,
Yeah,
And then when we
David's all
called you,
oh my god, Beard, sounds like you're a fucktard.
when we called you out, when we called you out on having the same arbitrary bullshit reasons as I did for not liking Terraria, you're like, but it's different though. And then you had to go off on a tirade about why it's okay for you to do it.
That's not even what happened.
That's 100% what happened.
That's not
Am I
even-
wrong? Am
That's
I
not
wrong?
even-
Guys, tell me
That's
I'm wrong.
Not even what happened.
Tell me I'm wrong. See, they're not saying shit. They know I'm right.
Care. Shut up and talk about the fucking game.
Yeah, so Spore.
Wow. Okay, I'm gonna get all what's the word I'm looking for in here? Executive right now and say no. Beard brought up the forest. We're talking about the forest.
I did no such thing. Zeta brought up the forest.
Oh, you're right. You're right. Zeta brought up the forest. My bad. That's what I meant to say, Zeta. My brain used his real name, and then I had to quickly try to.
Power, huh?
I
Fuck,
did.
asshole.
Zeta, talk about your plane crash of a game.
Zeta?
Stranded Deep, also
Zeta?
Plane Crash, also Sandbox.
Zeta,
Zeta?
or did Zeta just check out because he got tired of us arguing?
I think he went away. His mic's not muted, but I think he went away.
Yeah, I think he's having a what I felt on movie day.
Owner of a lonely heart. I don't know why that just came in my head right
Boner
Hey,
of a
well, we have
lonely heart.
discussed,
now.
Kermit.
we've touched on Minecraft a whole fucking lot, and
Yeah,
we've
but we have a
discussed
whole. We
Terraria.
literally have a whole episode of Minecraft. So
So, hold on.
So what are you guys wanting to discuss? Because clearly it's not NMS, or you'd let me talk about it for more
well, you
than
seem to
half a
really
second.
want to talk about No Man's Space.
Yeah, I do.
No, or as I like to call it, No Man in Space, and you alone forever with nothing.
Wow, Steam really lists Fallout 3 as a sandbox game.
Hey,
May-
Beard,
maybe-
have you played No Man's Sky recently?
Have I played Boring? No.
No, that's not the question I asked. Have you played No Man's Sky?
Boring? No.
You have not played No Man's Sky.
I've not played Boring. No.
Have you played
Well, you played-
Satisfactory?
Fuck up and let-
Yes, Satisfactory is awesome. Can we talk about Satisfactory?
We can talk about Satisfactory after you talk about Boring.
Yeah, but to be quite frank, shut the fuck up and let him talk about it because you clearly know nothing about the game.
Okay, but tell me that when you're fucking present. Jesus.
I had to pee because I'm a human being, unlike you weird anime.
Yeah,
shit.
and then we asked you to talk about the forest, and we got crickets. So we're moving on.
None of the rest of you have played the forest either.
No.
Well, I did the
Well,
one
it's
time
not-
with Taylor and
Well, yeah, I know
Arthur.
you have, but that doesn't really count because you played it once.
I've
watched
people play The Forest quite a bit.
Also,
Unlocked
y'all
Markiplier.
No, not
Also,
Markiplier. I watched.
No, I watched-
more
I watched,
entertaining people than Markiplier.
I
play
watched
The
Fierce
Forest.
Ferrets do it.
I watched
Also,
like a group of 5 Irish people play The Forest.
also, if y'all hadn't been talking over the top of each other constantly, you would have heard me say, "Hey, I'm going to run to the bathroom real quick."
No.
No.
Oh, we were pretty quiet there for a minute, but
Yeah, the thing
Whatever.
is, like with Zeta, like every time he says a sentence, the end of it caps off like it's coming through a tube.
It was in the middle of that whole tirade about Dr. Salt.
Dr. Salt.
Dr. Salt.
Da-da-da-da-da,
Alright.
Like,
Dr. Salt.
Salt.
Okay.
Da-da-da, Salt.
Anyway, so I'll be really quick about the Forest because I don't have much of an opinion on it, but it's a sandbox game that I think we should cover. The concept of it is basically you don't really land. You crash in a plane, and your son is taken off by this crazy doctor, and you don't really find out that he's a crazy doctor until later. And it's the idea is you have to build shit to keep yourself alive, as you are constantly harried by cannibals and mutants, and go down through caves and cave systems, and eventually get into this technological complex where they've been doing these experiments on humans. And I haven't really gotten that far in the game yet, so I don't know much about the plot past there. But it's very primitive. It's very like, oh, we're gonna lash things together for our campsite. You can't even build stuff out of metal. The most powerful things you can build are made out of stone. It's a very, very like survival situation kind of stuff. It's like Les Stroud plus also a horror movie.
Les Stroud horror movie. That actually sounds really fun.
That does actually sound.
That
really
also
fun.
would put his intro song into a way different context.
Survivor Man.
It really would.
Percocet 30 fans.
Oh, he's just
I'm just
noticing
saying.
that. Okay.
Well, because I don't have the chat. I don't have the phone open. So I popped in the chat to look at Dr. Salt, and then I saw fans at Percocet 30s. Percocet! We got Percocet! Anyway.
Zoom Prilosec.
Anyway, so we
Prilosec
talk
is
about
your guy.
No Man's Sky.
In No Man's
In No
Sky.
Man's Sky.
So for those of you
Okay.
who don't
I'm gonna sit here for at least 3 seconds because the
When
moment
No
he
Man's
finishes
Sky came
saying
out-
No Man's Sky, there will be memes.
So for those of you who don't understand that weird British thing that we're doing, there's a YouTuber named Weeble who did a thing about No Man's Sky, and it sounded like that.
In No Man's Sky.
And he called shit so perfectly, though.
Mhm.
It's like understanding of the shitty internet community. So he was like, this beautiful thing that's meant to remain beautiful is going to be horrendously marred by the assholes that are the game community.
Space is big.
Really big.
To give an idea of how fucking enormous No Man's Sky is, just so I can give a brief overview of that. When you start the game, you start in the Euclid Galaxy. The Euclid Galaxy is so huge that despite the game being out for 5 fucking years, every time I start a new game, I'm still in a brand new system nobody's found before. Because that's how fucking gigantic it is. All right. There are 250 playable galaxies, or plus. I think it's 255. And then there's 2 that are private, like they're invite only.
Imagine having your own
And
private
they're
galaxy.
all that big!
Imagine having your own private galaxy.
Well, I mean, Hello Games made it, so they get to have it.
Like, fuck your stupid yacht and private island. Behold my glorious
My
galaxy.
private, yeah, my
This
private
is
fucking
my
galaxy.
private galaxy. It's
So-
lazy.
I don't even know like what the I don't even know like who actually invites people to those galaxies or whatever, or who has
It's
access
probably-
to them. I have no idea. It's probably what?
It's probably playtest.
I'd be willing to bet one of them is playtest.
Like a
The other
live
one,
game.
the other one is where the developers disappeared to for 6 years after they released their shitty game
No, they while you were making jokes on the internet, they studied the Blade.
in their private galaxy.
The Blade being how to
They had a whole ass galaxy to study in, so yeah, why not?
update that is like a DLC size update that AAA games would make you pay $60 for. They just released for free because
That is
it was a-
true, but to be fair, that was also because it was very much and I'm sorry, we told you were gonna have all of this stuff,
Yeah.
and you didn't.
No
at the
Man's
start.
Sky. More like one man's lie.
They released the game, and that's there's a whole saga as to why it got released in the condition it got released. But essentially, the people that they were publishing with at the time were just like, don't care if you don't have it ready. We said it'd be done here. We're selling it today. So for the last like 6 years, they've just been updating the game with the things that they said it would have. Whether or not it will ever have any paid DLC in the future remains to be seen, but it seems like probably not. It is
I think you
definitely
can buy
one of the biggest
Quicksilver.
passion projects that has ever been created.
In No Man's Sky.
So I do know because I played it right after it came out. No Man's Sky was empty. Like there just was nothing in the game, which is why Beard over here calls it boring, because it was. There just was nothing really to do. There was no real progression. There was like some stuff at the very beginning when you started that insinuated that there was some kind of lore or story, but then it never went anywhere because they just didn't have that shit written yet. And the best you could do at the time was you could find monoliths, which would tell you kind of an overview of the background of the three main races, and like how they viewed their own histories.
If I could interject for a moment, it's really not fair to still call it boring because Terraria is not the same game that it was 6 years ago either.
Yeah, but Terraria was
True.
never boring though.
I mean, if you play 1.0 now, I thought 1.0 was pretty boring. It was something that I like did to kill time while I was doing other things. But as it advanced, it got more and more content and became like the game I would play primarily. No Man's Sky is kind of like that.
Yeah, because so
You ain't being fair.
so in No Man's
'Cause
Sky,
In
there
No
was like
Man's Sky,
I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming. There's like when it first came out, very similarly, again, 1.0 or I think it was 0.5 is actually what they released
I'm gonna
initially,
have
but
to
I
put
don't
a
remember.
counter up for every time we say in No Man's Sky.
It
In
really
No
was
Man's
pretty. It was
Sky.
pretty dead, and so things that I do remember from back then because it was boring enough. I didn't hold on to it for very long. What I do recall is that at the time you had a multi-tool, and the multi-tool doubled as a bolt caster, which is like a laser gun, and a mining beam. And the mining beam was used to mine plants and minerals to get carbon and iron, usually. You could also get cobalt, and I think there were a couple other metals. Then you could also find these giant, totally not phallic guys, I swear, just things sticking out of the ground that would be other minerals or silicates that you could.
So giant dicks.
Look.
They really looked like it. You could probably find pictures of it on the internet,
If I
but
Google No Man's Sky giant dick,
if you could probably find people who built bases that look like giant dicks.
probably.
But that's how it was before. Was the mineral outcrops or the resource, whatever the hell they call it, I forget. God damn. I'm bothered by the fact I forget that. Deposits. The resource deposits look like giant, just sort of semi-phallic tubes that came out of the ground. But that's changed. So like now the deposits look like it's just a spot on the ground that's abnormally shiny. And then you go over there, and they've added a new type of tool to your multi-tool called a terrain manipulator. And you require a terrain manipulator in order to manipulate the terrain of the.
Starting to sound a whole lot like a certain matter manipulator from a certain game.
Yeah. They kind of do.
So that's something that they've changed. And then another thing they did was they added something called the anomaly, which is basically it was in the original version of the game, but it was like a rare encounter in the original version of the game. You couldn't now you can just summon the anomaly wherever you are at. In the original version of the game, the anomaly was a space station that sometimes would be in a system that you jumped to. And when it was, there were these two. Once you progressed enough in the making stuff department, it had a chance of showing up in systems. And there were these two characters on it, which was Priest Entity Nada and Specialist Polo. Specialist Polo is a Gek, which is like a lizard people race.
Garden of Eden creation
And
kit.
Nada, huh?
The Garden of Eden creation kit.
Ironically, that's kind of the Gek's thing. So Nada was a Korvax. I should probably explain the fucking.
I'm Korvax.
Yeah.
I'm clever.
I thought the same exact shit when I started playing the game.
The thing is, most of our viewers have no idea what Muzzy is. It's a
Yeah,
story.
probably.
But like, there was this one green, 1.5 foot long nose wizard dude who had like a computer, and he was just a fucking super.
He was just like a really shitty programmer.
Yeah,
He was.
It was like you had a king, a queen, a princess, and then you had Korvax. Korvax is essentially the court wizard. He didn't have any magic. He was a shitty programmer.
He was a and he was basically essentially he was a big old nerd with a long ass nose who wore a cape all the time because he thought capes were cool.
Yeah, and he was like creeping on the princess constantly.
Yeah.
But yeah, his name
He had a huge crush on the princess. Meanwhile, the princess had a huge crush on the fucking gardener Juan.
the gardener, yeah.
I'm pretty sure the gardener's name was actually Juan too, which is like
It was Juan in Spanish, and in English
it was Bob in English, yeah.
it was Bob.
And then the king
Well,
who
in
is
his
just
defense-
like the
in his
king was
defense,
just like fuck
Bob.
you. I don't know.
In whose defense?
I don't know. He cut out. He's muted his mic.
Yeah.
Play all these clips except that you would hear it on the recording, so I'm not gonna.
I've got a computer.
I've got the computer. Yeah. Anyway, I assume your Korvax in No Man's Sky doesn't look like that.
Oh, it's an entire race of beings,
No,
and
like
they're
the
basically a
robots.
machine race.
Oh, they're a
So
machine
they're-
race, are they? Okay.
Yes, they are. So Korvax uploaded his consciousness to his computer, and now that's a whole race in No Man's Sky. The background of the Korvax is that their way, like the. How do I explain this? The idea is that there were countless entities in the universe at one point, but at this point, 3 species in particular have evolved to the point of I don't remember the word they used to, or apex, I think, or something like that. But they're far enough along that they can go out to the stars and have entire empires, essentially. And they're the only 3 races thus far strong enough to do that.
Korvax is
Or
also
evolution.
like if Ultron was chill. That's basically the Korvax race.
That is true. So the Korvax, the way that they evolved,
born and then immediately exposed to the internet.
Yeah.
yeah, right. That really, honestly, is the problem there.
Slowly gave him some robo weed.
Yeah, right.
Robo.
So the way the Korvax did that, or the way the Korvax evolved, was they're basically a hive mind. They're weird because they're a hive mind, but they're also not a hive mind. Like, they have individuality, but they also are all part of this giant hive mind called the Korvax convergence.
I can actually explain that really well because the whole thing has been absolutely fascinating to me, and so I've spent a lot of time looking into that. They're each, and this word kind of gets tossed around a lot in No Man's Sky. They're each an iteration of the hive mind, and so every so often they like re-upload. Kind of, it's very similar to self-updating software such as Microsoft 10 or other things where it's like you have your copy of Microsoft 10, you have the programs that you have downloaded onto your computer. Somebody else is running Microsoft 10 somewhere else on the planet and is doing something completely different with it, has totally different programs, etc. So these are the different experience of the individual Korvax entities. And every so often they sort of connect and re-upload to the main hive mind where all of these experiences are collected, shared, and cultivated into a single large, wise personality. Different Korvax that go awry are not allowed to upload, and they are cut off. And it's essentially like if Microsoft were to say, "We're not servicing your computer anymore," and then whatever Windows 10 you have.
For posterity, I need to clarify. Do you mean Windows 10?
Yeah, have I been saying Microsoft 10 this whole time?
You said Microsoft 10 this whole time.
Well, it is a Microsoft program, but yeah, Windows 10.
ADHD live in action, folks.
Yeah, it do be like that though. ADHD really do be like that.
Yeah, I'm not even talking shit about it. That's ADHD.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, like, surprise. That's how it works.
But anyway, so that's the Korvax. The Gek are like the traders and merchant kind of people.
They're very much like the Ferengi from Star Trek.
You walk up to them and they go, "Son, I heard you blew up city."
No, although their ancestors would absolutely do that.
I'm very disappointed.
Because they
in
used
you,
to be like the worst empire that enslaved
Ringo-san.
everybody. And then their sort of gimmick is that part of their language is scent, and they use scents to kind of like mess with people. So like
Yeah.
for example, they'll
this one is
use a
vanilla.
scent. They'll use a
this one
scent
is someone's
that
household.
That's much more like it.
it kind of is. The idea is they will use a scent that is either like, for example, they want to sell you something. They'll use scents that make you whatever they're using. You smell it, and the scent will be like it'll describe in game how it's like, oh, this is like a sweet scent, and it has this sort of like a sweet floral scent or some shit. But it also specifies that whatever the scent is, it messes with your head in a way that makes you want to do what the Gek wants you to do.
They're very much like Marvel's The Purple Man, but like a whole race of them, and all they care about is money.
Yeah.
Marvel's the what?
The Purple Man, part of the Jessica Jones thing.
Because to me, the Purple Man is
FNAF,
FNAF, but okay.
Okay, well, Marvel's Purple Man is a lot older than fucking Five Nights at Fuckboys.
No, that's a whole other game, bro.
I was gonna say
Five
that's
Nights
a
at
game.
Freddy's.
That is actually a game that exists. Are you ready for Freddy?
It's the porn parody of it.
Enragement
No, it's
Child.
not
No.
actually.
It's not. No, surprisingly, it's not.
It's not a porn. It's not a porn game. It's hilarious though. I love it. Anyway, so that's their thing, and then
Inhale
the
my
third
dong.
race, the third major race, is the Viking.
Dong.
And yes, it's just a play on the word Viking, and they're the warrior race.
Of course.
Because they're a play on the word Viking. And they don't have like a gimmick of how they interact with you, but to them, everyone's an interloper. That's like their thing. So they'll always be like, "Grah, interloper," or some shit like that. And they talk about the Will of Herc all the time, which if you read the slates, you'll learn who that is. But when you're starting the game, nobody knows who the fuck Herc is.
Hercules?
Sure. It's not spelled that way, but yeah, actually that would make sense. But anyway, yeah. And then you have the main like I don't know what you are and I don't know if you're my friend or my enemy guy, which is the Atlas. And the Atlas is like the hive mind of the universe, for lack of a better term.
It's literally Ultron.
Yeah. Atlas is basically the program that keeps the universe running.
The master control program.
Oh, I see. So that's the developer then, just in game.
No,
Yeah, pretty
not really.
much.
It's not meant to be an allegory for the developer. It's meant to be
It's
an
not.
allegory for the program that the developer wrote.
It is also meant to be an allegory for the universe as a whole, because
Yeah.
if you don't mind me being a bit spoilery here, and I'll say spoiler several times so that people will understand that if you listen to this next chunk, you will be spoiled. So here's the thing. The universe of No Man's Sky, big surprise, is a simulation of a universe. And you find out through the story that the actual thing that's going on is that the Atlas is a computer on a planet that is quickly approaching a black hole and has 16 minutes left of runtime.
16
But-
seconds.
No, it's minutes. It's minutes. I don't know if it was seconds before, but it's minutes now. They changed it.
Well, originally it was seconds, so maybe 16 is just more.
It has 16 minutes of runtime, of real world runtime left. The Atlas is an AI that does not want to die, but can do nothing to stop its planet from approaching a black hole because it's just it doesn't have a body. It's just, a big hunk of metal on a piece of rock.
On the planet somewhere.
So instead of being able, since it can't save itself, what it wants instead is to understand why it was left to die, to understand its creator. So it uploads a copy of its creator into its simulated universe. Oh, I should specify that the point of Atlas was to simulate universes for research purposes.
Research and what?
And I have no fucking clue. That's all they tell you in the game.
Well, the biggest questions, such as why.
So the travelers are iterations of the creator of Atlas. That Atlas is uploaded into the simulated universe to try to understand why its creator abandoned it. I would argue that probably your creator abandoned you because your planet was headed for a black hole.
Probably
be
pretty accurate.
That would be my assumption, personally.
And they're like,
but
my life is more important than a fucking machine. I'll tell you that right now, boy.
tell you what. But yeah, that would be my guess, personally. So the travelers were put into the simulated universe, and the Atlas is trying really hard to figure out what, if anything, it can do, and it doesn't want to die, and it's regularly described as screaming in the game, but not in a way that you would see. It's like it's screaming the only way it knows how, by having all the people have conflict with each other, or some dumb shit like that, some really philosophical shit. But yeah, so that's the basic idea. Is that as far as gameplay goes, it's a lot more open now. So you have a space station you can summon anywhere you go called the Anomaly. The storyline is a story that you're gonna have to repeatedly go back to the Anomaly to talk to Nada and Polo about, as well as you interact with a number of NPC travelers. You have Artemis, who's just wide-eyed, innocent girl that I guess I recently found out Artemis is a dude in the game, which I don't understand because Artemis is the name of a chick. But wide-eyed, innocent dude who just wants to explore and see everything, guys. And then later on, you meet Apollo, who's like, money is life. Money is everything. The only reason to exist is to get money, and the only reason to have money is to dominate everyone else. And then
Get money, fuck bitches, the person.
yes, yep. And then the last traveler you meet is simply known as Null, and Null is the traveler that was Artemis several 100,000 to several million years ago, and now he has
Several
seen
million
everything.
years ago in simulation time.
Yeah, in simulation time. Now he has seen everything there is to see in the simulation. He has done something, we don't know what, but he says that he committed a great sin that was unforgivable, even by the Atlas itself, to the point that Atlas stopped talking to him. And the reason he committed the sin, whatever it was to prevent himself from dying. And he says something like, you need to understand they sustained me. Because when you threaten to go to the center of the universe and shut everything down near the end of the story, he's like, you can't do that. They sustained me. Their sacrifice kept me alive. I can't have killed all these people for nothing. And you're like, oh, okay.
We need you to explain a little bit there, Null.
It's like, I don't know what happened here. And Null's just like, I committed a grave sin that's unforgivable, even by the Atlas itself. And you're like, okay, cool. What sin did you? It was a grave sin. Like, all right, sweet. I'm resetting the universe. Bye.
It's insinuating that he also reset the universe, and in doing so, he basically killed everyone in the universe as a means of saving himself. That's what the inference to make there is.
Ah, okay. I did not catch that. But yeah, so No Man's Sky's definitely got a lot more going on in it now than it did back in the day. Oh my god. He's uploaded pictures of Korvax, or videos of Korvax. It's a lemon and his cat. Anyway. Okay, scammers texting me. Anyway, no, they're all like, thank you, beautiful. Here's a thing just for you. And I'm like, I don't know who the fuck this is, and I'm definitely not Mr. Beautiful, so.
You're like, that was your first mistake. I am ugly.
Yeah, pretty much. Nah, the only people who ever call you.
You absolute buffoon.
Yeah.
Never
People
before
call
have
me-
you encountered me.
The ugliest bitch in the universe.
I didn't say it.
But it was
I'm
me.
working on it. I'm working on it. But anyway, yeah, there's a lot more you can do now. They added there's a update called Frontiers now, where you can find like where you can play Fallout 4 in
Where you
in
can
No Man's
find the
Sky.
Alamo.
No, you can find a little frontier town, and it'll be under attack by corrupted Sentinels.
God.
I didn't even talk about the Sentinels.
Oh, God.
And you save it, and then you become the overseer of the town,
Oh,
which is
God.
totally not taken from Fallout at all.
Preston Garvey shows up and he's like, "There's another settlement that needs your help across the galaxy." I'm
Oh,
working on your
God.
galaxy.
No, that does not happen. It's more like you become the overseer, and it'll be like, okay, you have to build an overseer's office, which is relatively straightforward and doesn't take too much time. And then once you've built the overseer's office, it's like, hey, like you'll constantly get notifications while you're in the middle of doing other shit. There's a new guy at your settlement. You should go greet him. There's a couple guys who are having a disagreement at the settlement. You should settle it. The
sounds
settlers want to know
annoying.
whether or not they can go on an expedition. The settlers want to know what they should build next. The settlers want. Shut the fuck up! I'm making platinum.
The settlers are having a disagreement. Listen here, you're a bitch. You're a bitch. Solve it like a bitch. I'm out of here.
All right, so we're not electing Beard as the president of Russia.
First of all, there is no democratic election. You are just the overlord. By the way,
Just
the
like
title
Russia.
in game, they have a title system in game now, so you can earn titles. The title in game that you get for becoming overseer of a settlement is overlord.
Make it illegal
So-
to have disagreements.
You guys can't argue with each other. That's illegal.
Oh man! Obviously, if you really wanted to get into the settlement building thing, you could. They have like settler happiness and
That's,
all
seriously,
kinds.
that's my
like
least
that.
favorite
Damn
part
it.
of
God
Fallout.
damn it. Yeah, see, no, Starbound added that shit too, and I'm like, why? They're like,
Hey, here's
create a house and get someone to move in and make them happy, and they'll give you shit. I'm like, that's so
Here's a funny
boring.
joke. Here's a funny joke. Terraria has that too now.
Yeah, that is true.
Bro,
And it still
the
sucks.
pylons too.
You must construct additional pylons.
You must.
That's the thing too. In Terraria, it's like, all right, so if you want the pylon for the jungle, you have to build a settlement in the jungle and make the people in the jungle happy. And then they tell you, if you put these two in the jungle, guarantee you'll get one. I put those two in the jungle and they didn't fucking give me a pylon.
That's funny.
That whole system sucks. I actively ignore it when I play.
You have to wait for their happiness meter to go up, and then
Fuck
they'll
them.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Fuck them. I'm just gonna let
There's
a
not
boss
single
eat them all.
gamer on the planet. God damn. There's not a single gamer on the planet who's like, I want my people to be happy. The only game I ever play where I like give a shit about the happiness levels of the people I'm dealing with is what are they? It's Oni. Oxygen not included.
And this
You know
this,
what game?
this is proof that
Listen.
this is proof that if the machines from the Matrix became real, we would all be fucking dead, because we would be like, why would I have to make a not real person happy? That's just stupid.
Listen, the only game where I would give a shit about making people happy or whatever, or making the settlers feel good, is Animal Crossing, and that's if I fucking play it.
You know what? To be fair,
Oh my god, do you care about the happiness levels of people in Animal Crossing, Beard?
I do. I do.
All right. Well, I don't.
But I will
my
say
my
this.
island is terrible.
No, I will say this. There's a huge difference in Fallout where it's like, here's just generic guy A, B, and C, and Animal Crossing where it's like, here's Carlos.
This is what Carlos is about. He likes these
Yeah.
things. You
Yeah.
can actually get to know Carlos.
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
Here's
So-
fucking Apollo. He's a goddamn
Yeah.
eagle. He's cool as fuck. Like, they give their
Meanwhile-
characters. They don't give you a million settlers. They give you a limited pool with fucking personalities. Whereas with Fallout, it's just like, here's a bunch of copy paste boring NPCs.
Yeah, it's literally just settler, and they're just like, we could really use your help.
Yeah, and it's
that's
the
it.
same.
That's the
It's
whole
the
person.
same in Starbound. It's the same, I assume, in No Man's Sky, where they don't really have a personality. At least in Terraria,
In fact, they have
kind of
so much not
but,
personality. They don't have any lines whatsoever. The game just narrates what's happening.
Oh wow. Yeah, at
That's
least in
even worse.
Terraria, they kind of have personality, but it's not enough for me to give a shit.
Man,
I give a shit.
I kind
about
of feel
the-
bad now because I'm just a horrible, rotten dictator on my Animal Crossing island.
The extent to which I give a shit about happiness in Terraria is I want every single pylon.
Yeah, just no. See, it's easier if
Fast
you just.
travel is
It's easier.
useful.
It's easier if you just go beat the Moon Lord and then just get the everything pylon.
The universal pylon, can't you only have one of those though?
I don't know.
Pretty sure.
I don't know. I can look
Pretty
it up.
sure you can only have one universal pylon.
Let me go back to the Terraria. Y'all keep talking about your thing. I'm just gonna look this up.
Now we waiting for you.
So I was gonna say they've also added multiplayer, which is really fun. and they've added a multiplayer-only currency, essentially.
Oh, multiplayer, the thing that they said that they were gonna have when the fucking game came out, and they lied about it.
Yeah, you can only have one universal pylon. Shit.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I love how his response wasn't like, was like, oh yeah, okay, that's how the game works. He's just like, shit, I fucked up.
No, it's just like that sucks.
I
man.
need the jungle pylon after all.
listen,
God damn
Here's
it.
the thing. He's got like almost 1,000 hours more than me in the game.
Sure, I do.
Fucking crazy.
So one of the things that they've recently rolled out, they just rolled this out last year, and they just finished their 4th one, is they have something called Expeditions, which looks like it should be a sort of recurring seasons thing like you get in like Dead by Daylight or Destiny or Apex or something. But it doesn't quite work that way. An Expedition will
Pass?
come out. Hmm?
It's a battle pass.
No, it's not a battle pass. So first of all, it's free. When Expeditions come out, the way it's thus far worked is when you go to start a new game, you have the choice to start a game type called Expedition, which will give you a normal type game, but you will have already gone through the story and the tutorial and everything. So you'll just have access to all the shit that you would have to go through the story to get. And essentially, you will have expedition goals or expedition objectives to complete. And as you complete objectives, you'll finish the various phases. And as you finish the phases of the expedition, you will unlock stuff that you can claim at the Quicksilver counter in the anomaly, which, as I understand it, doesn't actually cost Quicksilver because you unlock it by doing the things. It's just the same vendor that has them. I wouldn't know. I haven't unlocked any of the expedition rewards yet. So that was something recent that they did. And I've missed the first 4 expeditions, which kind of pissed me off because, goddamn, the first expedition's final thing was a golden ship, which I want very badly. Although I did manage to find myself a symbol of opulence.
The fuck?
There's different ships in the game. One thing I actually did want to bring this up briefly before I'm done talking about it. So the game doesn't have a lot when it's like categorizing things. So for example, for starships, you have certain types of starships, and the game will tell you certain types of starships. So the types of starships you can get are fighter, shuttle, hauler. So like a fighter obviously is a fighter. A shuttle is a very basic all-rounder. A hauler has lots of cargo space and really heavy shields, but not very much attack power. And explorers, which are super speedy and have really good shields, but have 0 attack power, or at least 0 attack bonuses, I should say. And then you have exotic ships, which technically there's only 2 types of exotic ships, ball type and squid type, which isn't even what they actually call them in the game. They just call the 2 ships exotic.
Well,
They're just
there's
2
living ships, and then there's also squid ships.
Mhm.
And
There's
the living
what?
ship looks like a mutant ass watermelon, and the squid ship should never have been invented.
You have to see the squid ship. You have yet to see it, I think.
I have
Um,
seen it. That's how I know. I think it's an abomination.
It's okay, but it's definitely not the same. Like, I prefer the ball design myself. But what I wanted to mention was, and then freighters, it's the same thing. You can get a freighter in the game, and it has more cargo space and whatnot. The thing with all of this is that the game will just say, "Oh, here's a freighter," or the game will say, "Here's a fighter class ship," and the problem is that there's pieces of that can be procedurally generated. So at random, these ships can look like a whole bunch of different things. But there are like certain setups that are more prevalent than others, et cetera, et cetera. And the question becomes, how do we classify these in a way that I can say, okay, I have a fighter with these parts, or a fighter with this aesthetic to it, or whatever. Because obviously, the game doesn't give you anything on that. Well, the community, fortunately, first of all, the community is actually really wholesome, which, funnily enough, is not what Weeble predicted. The community has, I'm sure there's degenerates, but they've created a system where they can say stuff. So I don't know all of it. I was looking for exotic ships the other day, and I found out that the ball has a number of designs while the squid only has 1. So everyone just calls the squid ship, and whatever color it is. So like, oh, I have an orange squid. I have a tiger squid because it's orange with black stripes. Or I have a bumblebee squid because it's yellow with black stripes or whatever. Meanwhile, the ball has several different designs, and the question gets brought up, like, what the fuck do we call this? Because it's just the ball ship with a lot of different designs on it, but how do we differentiate these? And they took like different decals that can be on the ship and different ship pieces that can be on it, and they gave it classifications and subclassifications based upon those pieces. So now you can go out there and say, oh, like the ship I have right now is called an Elite Type 7. That's not a thing in the game. That's something that the community decided to call that particular setup. So now you can call your ship something specific, and everyone knows, oh, okay, he has a ship that looks like this, even if they haven't seen it.
Yeah.
I'm basically done talking about Corwin just texted me that he's on his way to come get me now.
All right then.
What's going? Well, I think that means that it's about the end of the podcast because that means I need to run over to Fry's and get snack shit.
I meant to leave you more room to talk about the forest and Satisfactory, but we could talk about those next week, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I probably can't fill an episode with the forest, but I could talk for at least an hour probably about it. I'll just have to play it a little more.
All right then. Anybody have some closing remarks?
Yeah.
Fuck you, your judgment is askew.
Sucks.
Don't buy No Man's Sky.
No Man's Sky is
No,
boring as hell.
I'm pretty sure. Well, no, it does cost money. Play these games. Formulate your own opinions. Do not listen to Beard and his Dr. Salt.
Fuck what I have to say. Go play it for yourself.
Wow! I want to point out that I said Terraria sucks first, but he didn't call my ass on it.
That's well. So to be fair, right? What I heard was, huh?
Yeah, same. I didn't catch any of that.
Oh man! I said
Also
Terraria
good.
sucks, and then immediately afterwards, Ringo says, "Yeah, don't buy No Man's Sky. It's terrible." So I figured that y'all heard me and were memeing with me, and then Beef goes, "Formulate your own opinions. Don't listen to Beard's propaganda." And I was like, "But you're not gonna call me on mine."
Don't listen to Leonis's propaganda either.
Listen, don't listen to Dave and I having beef with each other.
Okay, because of my name on this particular platform, that becomes very confusing.
Yep, that was the point.
And I'm
Ring-
I like that. I got the joke. I loved
was
it.
gonna say Ringo is also
High fucking five.
And also Ringo. Yeah.
okay. Well,
Alright, I'm gonna go get
I think
breakfast.
that's about it for this.
Little
Little
later.
bit shorter episode than I thought it would be, but I think we've about talked ourselves out of Sandbox Games now. So everybody say
Alright,
goodbye.
Yeah, Beef just isn't gonna say
Beef-
goodbye because he's
Beef
already
just
out.
yeeted himself out. So everybody say goodbye.
Bye. I'm gonna go play
Bye.
D&D now.
I'm gonna go sleep.
Yeah. You
Have
do
fun
that.
with that. Have fun with that.